Whether I'm harvesting and preserving produce from my garden and orchard, or having fun in the kitchen, experimenting with new recipes, or making favorite holiday recipes, I just love fall's focus on cozy foods. I especially love enjoying a delicious treat by the fire. Here in Northern California and all across the Northern Hemisphere, at the end of October, we are in the midst of autumn, and it is such a beautiful, wonderful time of year, isn't it? Hi, I'm Kim, and this is an oasis of books. Today I want to share with you 8 cozy fall books that are all about food. So first up, I have The Little Book of Pumpkin Spice. Now, this book may look little, but actually it is packed full of all sorts of interesting information. It has everything from the history of spices, when they were first used and where and how, to teaching you how to make your own spice blends of all sorts. Of course, being fall, the big emphasis here is on pumpkin spice and mixed spice, which is similar to pumpkin spice, but as I learned from this book, it's what they have in Britain, and it's a bit different, a little more savory, a little less sweet. Now, because I read a lot of history, both fiction and nonfiction, I was aware that spices have been used for centuries, many centuries, in cooking, but also for other uses too, medicinal and more. But still, this book did astonish me with some facts about just how far back the use of spices go. It also, impressed me with how helpful it is, how much info is packed in here about making your own spices, as in grinding your own, making your own mixes, preserving them. Just a lot of really good information. And yes, lots of recipes. So in addition to making your own spice mixes and your own special drinks and foods, it has recipes for self-care and gifts. Many gift ideas in here. The last chapter of the book, which is talking about bringing pumpkin spice into your life, I believe. Yes, pumpkin spice life. That has all kinds of ways that you can bring the benefits, both mental and health-wise, into your house and life in ways other than just food. The colors, fonts, and general artwork used throughout the book are all very cozy and fall-like, and I really appreciate the ambiance of reading this little book. How about gifting someone pumpkin spiced body lotion? Maybe pumpkin spice liquid hand soap? Or pumpkin spice wax melts? Pumpkin spice scented sachets? All sorts of gift ideas, yes, but also ideas for you to use around your own home. I have to admit, though, my favorite part of this book are the drink recipes. For instance, Pumpkin Caramel Eggnog, which you can make vegan. I tried it, and it's delicious. Of course, we have to have a homemade pumpkin spice latte, but also what about a pumpkin coconut latte? Or if you would like some alcoholic beverages, they've got plenty of those in here too, including an old-fashioned pumpkin and a pumpkin pie martini. There's recipes for pumpkin spice trail mix, pumpkin butter, pumpkin spice mousse dessert, pumpkin spice green beans, pumpkin mixed nuts, and how about a pumpkin spice marinade? So yes, though this book is mostly about pumpkins, it does have quite a bit in it about a few other spices that we usually use in conjunction with pumpkin, such as cinnamon and allspice and cardamom and nutmeg. Boy, I learned a lot about nutmeg I didn't know, that I found very interesting. And I do think it's beneficial to know some of the history of spices and their uses in the past and ways we could use them even now if we just knew about them. And I really feel empowered now to make my own different spice mixes going forward. So if, like me, any of this intrigues you, be sure to look for The Little Book of Pumpkin Spice. Similar to the pumpkin book, I have coffee recipes, customs, facts, and fancies. This is written by Jean Gordon and published in 1963. I picked it up used many years ago, and I just love it. It has all kinds of vintage illustrations in it, taken from other books and such as this illustration from an early edition of Arabian Nights. Of course, it's full of recipes, including coffee beverages, coffee desserts, coffee candies, and then coffee used in meat dishes, sauces, icings, and fancies. The book also contains historical facts sprinkled throughout, which I found to be a lot of fun. For instance, did you know that in London, England, as late as 1700, coffee was served only in shallow bowls, or as we would say, deep saucers. At that time, it was customary for a gentleman to stride into a London coffee house and call out, "A dish of coffee, boy." Be-handled cups, obviously a woman's novelty, were invented in the mid-18th century. But under every cup, there was still the saucer, and men continued to favor the saucer for another century. And here we have an illustration from 1692 labeled "Dish of Coffee Boy," designed in Delft tiles. But mostly, yes, it is the recipes. Of course, there's all sorts of coffee drinks described in detail, explained carefully, that I have loved experimenting with through the years. But there's also wonderful desserts and snacks that go with coffee, such as coffee molasses cake, coffee coconut pie, coffee caramel cookies, coffee oat muffins. There are little historical essays telling me all about the benefits of coffee, but you know, I could have written one of those myself. As an avid coffee drinker, I am fully aware of all the benefits. So if, like me, you have a strong affection for coffee, keep your eyes open for books like this one. You can find them at a lot of used library sales and thrift stores, and maybe in your grandma's attic. Now for the actual cookbook that I mentioned I'd share with you. We've got a wonderful new favorite of mine, Pancakes, 72 sweet and savory recipes for the perfect stack. This is by Adrianna Adarme. Now, I did another video recently, which I'll link above and in the description below, where I covered another book by Adrianna Adarme. It was called The Year of Cozy. Now, that book was, of course, full of wonderful recipes, but it also included many interesting craft ideas, things you could do yourself or with children. And it had a lot of beautiful home decor suggestions and a lot of general advice about making your whole life year-round be more cozy. Once I'd read and enjoyed The Year of Cozy so much, I knew I had to see if Adrianna Adarme had written anything else. And yes, I found she had written this book. And this is absolutely amazing if you like pancakes, because it has so many, 72 ideas for you. And again, not just sweet ones, lots of savory suggestions too. And the photography in here is gorgeous. Let me just share a few of the recipes with you. We have cinnamon bun pancakes, cheese and sage pancakes, strawberries and cream crepe pancakes, peanut butter and chocolate pancakes, cranberry brown butter pancakes, curried cauliflower fritters, and even coffee pancakes, which I admit I'm going to try these tomorrow. So the fourth and final nonfiction food book I want to share with you is a memoir. I read it a couple of weeks ago and I absolutely loved it. It's called Life from Scratch, a memoir of food, family, and forgiveness by Sasha Martin, and it was published in 2015. Now, I got this book based on three things. One, I love food writing, so a food memoir is right up my alley. Two, the cover. It's beautiful. It's enticing. I wanted to read it because of the cover. And three, the synopsis of the book sounded great. Let me read it to you. Witty, warm, and poignant food blogger Sasha Martin's memoir about cooking her way to happiness and self-acceptance is a culinary journey like no other. Over the course of 195 weeks, food writer and blogger Sasha Martin set out to cook and eat a meal from every country in the world. As cooking unlocked the memories of her rough and tumble childhood and the loss and heartbreak that came with it, Martin became more determined than ever to find peace and elevate her life through the prism of food and world cultures. From the tiny makeshift kitchen of her eccentric creative mother, to a string of foster homes, To the house from which she launched her own cooking adventure, Martin's heartfelt, brutally honest memoir reveals the power of cooking to bond, to empower, and to heal, and celebrates the simple truth that happiness is created from within. So that sounded fabulous to me, and I picked that book up and started reading it one evening, and I couldn't put it down. The writing style is great. It's just compelling. You want to keep reading from one chapter to the next, and that is because, unlike most memoirs, this book does not focus on a small period in Sasha's life, which I admit my expectation was that it would. I thought it was going to focus on, as the synopsis says, the 195 weeks where she cooks a meal from each country in the world. And that sounded absolutely wonderful to me, a real exploration after my own heart. But it doesn't. In fact, Sasha Martin doesn't get to that part of the memoir till, well, at least halfway through. I didn't check to see exactly, but maybe even 2/3 of the way through, something like that. This is actually a memoir of her whole life, and that's not typically what a memoir is, and I don't think most memoirs would work trying to cover that much time usually. However, it does work in this book, and that's because she keeps the focus strictly on the food. I mean, everything else that's happening in her life is there, but it's all like spokes of the wheel coming out from that center of food, and it really does work, and it works really well. And although the synopsis does give a hint that Martin's life was a bit unusual, a bit hard, it doesn't give you the full picture, of course. And so this book was surprising to me in what a challenging childhood Sasha Martin had. And it's not at all unexpected, therefore, that she has to come to grips with a lot of this stuff in her adulthood. But the way she does it through cooking is it's just amazing. And it was a wonderful book to read, very heartwarming and very cozy. And although she had a rough childhood, I don't want to give you the impression that she suffered physical or sexual abuse in any way. It's not like that. It was just very tough in other ways. And I think one of the things that makes this book work as a cozy fall food book is that the ending of the book is very hopeful and uplifting, and that at the end of the book, the central relationship between Sasha and her mother is reinforced and strong yet again. Now, there is one very difficult subject that is covered in this book, so I do want to give the trigger warning of a suicide. It is obviously not Sasha, but it is someone very close to her, and so that is covered in the book because it had a major impact on Sasha's life. However, the central theme of the book from beginning to end, I feel like, is family, and it is hope. So all that to say, I wholeheartedly recommend Life from Scratch by Sasha Martin as a wonderful, cozy fall food book for you to read and enjoy this season. Now it's time to talk about the 4 fiction cozy food books, all of them being cozy mysteries. Now, I have so many series in my personal library and in my Kindle library. I've been following and enjoying cozy mysteries since they first became popular way back in the 90s. However, I'm not going to talk about, say, some of the OG cozy food mysteries like the Bake Shop mystery series by Ellie Alexander. And I'm not going to talk about some of the super popular series that started a while ago and are still going strong, like, say, the Cupcake Bakery mystery series by Jen McKinley. I'm not even going to talk about some of the great new cozy food mysteries like the Noodle Shop mystery series by Vivian Chen. With one exception, that is, I couldn't not share this series with you. It's the Cheese Shop mystery series by Korina Moss, one of my absolute new favorites. Book number 1 is Cheddar Off Dead. Cheesemonger Willa Bauer discovers that her new home in a small Sonoma Valley town is ripe for murder. Something here stinks to high heaven, in fact, and Willa knows it's not the cheese. So in this series, Willa has opened her very own French-inspired cheese shop. It's called Curds and Whey. She's determined to make it a success, starting with a visit from the local food critic. What Willa doesn't know is that this guy never gives a good review, and when he shows up, nothing goes according to plan. She doesn't think the night can get any worse until she finds the critic's dead body stabbed with one of her shop's own cheese knives. Now a prime suspect, Willa has always believed life's problems can be solved with cheese, but she's never tried to apply that theory to murder. Korina Moss dazzles in this debut. She's wonderful with descriptions. Her characters jump off the page. They're so vivid and lifelike. I really enjoyed the relationships in this book, and the sense of humor is great too. This series is ongoing. Her sixth book just came out in April, and it's called Bait and Swiss. The next cozy food mystery series I have for you is the Pickled and Preserved Mysteries, written by Mary Ellen Hughes, who's also known as Emmy Caldwell. And when I do my upcoming cozy mystery video with all kinds of cozy mysteries, themes of every sort, I will be featuring Emmy, aka Mary Ellen. But this series is actually done. It's a trilogy, so you can get all three and, finish the whole series and feel good about that. So book number 1 is The Pickled Piper. Book number 2 is Licensed to Dill, and book number 3, Scene of the Brine. So this trilogy is all about Piper Lamb, who decides to pursue her dream of opening her own shop of pickles and preserves, and she calls it Piper's Picklings. So this is set in the small town of Cloverdale, and the first book is set at the Cloverdale Fair. I love a good fair in a cozy mystery. The Cloverdale Fair offers Piper a sweet opportunity to promote her business. With her new assistant, Amy, she sets up a booth centered around an eye-catching display of the ever-popular dills in an old-fashioned barrel of brine. But things soon turn sour when fairgoers witness a fight between Amy's boyfriend, Nate, and town council blowhard and bagpipe player, Alan Rosemont. When Rosemont is found floating in Piper's barrel, Nate becomes the prime murder suspect. With Amy's boyfriend in a pretty pickle, there's no time to dilly-dally. But as Piper searches for the real killer, she needs to be careful to preserve her own life, or she may end up a pickled Piper herself. If you don't know, cozy mysteries love puns, so eventually you either grow to like them too, or just sort of overlook them. It's okay either way, because the puns are all in the title and in the synopsis. They're not sprinkled throughout the book, so no worries about that. Like all food cozy mysteries, this one features recipes at the back of the book. And this one has 2 pickle recipes that I've actually tried. They work great and are delicious. They are watermelon rind pickles and sweet and sour zucchini pickles. Next up, I've got a food cozy mystery series for you that's all about cranberries, and that's the Cranberry Cove mystery series by Peg Cochran. This is book number 1, Buried Secrets. This now has 10 books in it. Well, the 10th one is coming out in November. It's called Where the Bodies Are Buried. So let me tell you what this book and series are about. When Monica Albertson comes to Cranberry Cove, a charming town on the eastern shore of Lake Michigan, to help her half-brother, Jeff, on his cranberry farm, the last thing she expects to harvest is a dead body. Yikes. It seems that Sam Colbert, who ran the farm while Jeff was deployed overseas, had some juicy secrets that would soon prove fatal, and Jeff is ripe for the picking as a prime suspect. Forming an uneasy alliance with her high-maintenance stepmother, Monica has her hands full trying to save the farm while searching for a killer. Colbert made plenty of enemies in the quaint small town, but which one was desperate enough to kill? So this book series is very different in my opinion. I've read other series by Peg Cochran, and I know she is a wonderful writer, which is why I picked up this series. Also, look at that cover. But book number 1 was very enjoyable, so I can't wait to get to all the others. And I love the fact that this is ongoing that I know there's more coming my way now that I know how much I love the series. And the recipes in this book sound scrumptious. We've got cranberry coffee cake, cranberry butterscotch bars, and cranberry banana bread with streusel topping. Yeah. Last but not least, I've got the Spice Shop Mystery Series for you by Leslie Budewitz. Now, this series has 9 books in it currently. The 9th one, Lavender Lies Bleeding, came out in July. This is book number 1, and it's called A Salt and Pepper. I love this series so much. Quite unique, really. Don't you love the cover, too? All the covers in this series are great. So this book talks about Pepper. Yes, that's the protagonist's name, Pepper Reese. After leaving a dicey marriage and losing a beloved job in a corporate crash, Pepper Reese has found a new zest for life running a busy spice and tea shop in Seattle's Pike Place Market. Her aromatic creations are the talk of the town, and everyone stops by for a cup of her refreshing spiced tea, even other shopkeepers and market regulars. But when a panhandler named Doc shows up dead on the store's doorstep, a Seattle spice shop cup in his hand, the local gossip gets too hot for Pepper to handle, especially after the police arrest one of Pepper's staffers, Tori Finch, for murder. Tori seems to know why she's a suspect, but she refuses to do anything to curry favor with the cops. Convinced that her reticent employee is innocent, Pepper takes it on herself to sniff out some clues. Only if she's not careful, Pepper's nosy ways might make her next on the killer's list. So again, I am really enjoying this series, about halfway through it now. Can't wait to finish. And I think that if you love cooking and baking with spices, if you love Seattle or a good, farmer's market or specialty market, you're going to like this series. Leslie Budewitz is a fantastic author. And you can't go wrong with the Spice Shop Mysteries. So those are the 8 cozy fall food books I wanted to share with you. Upcoming soon, in addition to another wonderful Mary Stewart video, I am going to be putting out a fall cozy mystery books video. And it is just jam-packed with, I think, 16 different cozy mystery series, many of which I bet you haven't heard of. So stay tuned for that. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do so now and click that notification bell so you won't miss when I put out these videos or any of my new videos to come. Thanks so much for sticking with me and supporting me. I really appreciate you, and I'm wishing you lots of cozy, wonderful food reading this season. Get in your kitchen and cook and bake to your heart's content and enjoy some wonderful cozy foods this fall.